Another beautiful night in Boston. Middle game of a 3-game set between the Red Sox and the Athletics here at Fenway Park. Hi, everybody. With Ray Fosse, I'm Dominic Cotroneo. Thanks for joining us on this Wednesday night. Ray, last night 11-1, the Red Sox had their way with the A's last night, and Mookie Betts specifically joining the 2020 club for the second consecutive season. Hard to believe he's the first Red Sox to do that in their illustrious history, but overall, Sean Manaea struggled, and what did you see overall last night?
Well, the one thing about the Red Sox, they are a different ball club without David Ortiz. Mookie Betts stepping up, and you look at 2020, but bottom line, these guys are pretty good here at the park, and what happens with the A's coming into here, it's a different situation for them, just like Yankee Stadium. Guys have never played in Yankee Stadium, never played in Boston's Fenway Park. These are especially big parks to play in. You have to play well. If you make mistakes, as Sean did last night with Mookie Betts, you're going to get hurt. But I think what Betts is doing, what the club is doing for the Boston Red Sox, they are doing what they needed to do with David Ortiz retiring after last year. They don't have the big bopper in the middle of the lineup.
And the last win for the A's here at Fenway came back in 2014. They've lost 7 in a row, minus 42 in the run differential. Is it really being just wide-eyed young players here at Fenway?
I think in the case of a lot of players, they're coming here just like at Yankee Stadium. I know Sean Manaea pitched at Yankee Stadium. First batter he faced, 4 pitches out of the strike zone, settled down. But you have to realize these are historical sites. At Yankee Stadium, Fenway Park, they played baseball here forever. And I think for the young players getting acclimated to this park, they're going to be better in the future. But right now, they are experiencing what a lot of young players do when they play in these parks.
And Jarrell Cotton getting the start tonight. It's his first start at Fenway Park. And the home runs have been an issue for him lately. And against a team that hits plenty of home runs, it's going to be a night that he has to keep the ball down.
That's a tough job for him. 6 home runs in each of, 3 in each of his last 2 starts. But Jarrell Cotton, excellent changeup. He's got a great curveball, sneaky fastball. He has to use all of his pitches. I think his catcher tonight and Bruce Maxwell will make sure that he uses all the pitches. If he does, he's got a chance to have success against this ball club.
Cotton will be opposite Doug Fister on the other side, and that's coming up at the top of the hour. A's baseball next on NBC Sports California.
There's also a lot to cover, so luckily ASU play-by-play man Dominic Cotroneo is here to break down the details. Dom?
22 recruits sounds like a lot, but remember, in baseball, recruits can be signed straight out of high school, and this number 3 class ranked by Perfect Game really has a lot of talent that could go into the draft. Who's going to make it? We don't really know, but let's start with the top 100. These guys have the least chance of making it to campus, but there's still some hope for Sun Devil fans. The top 2 guys we're going to look at, Reggie Lawson and Bo Bichette. They've been in conversations of the first 2 rounds of the draft. Very unlikely that they make it to Tempe. The next 2 guys, though, Gavin Lux and Spencer Van Scoik, they're from Skips region in the northern Midwest, Wisconsin and Iowa, respectively. A very good chance they add depth to the weekend rotation. And then Carter Aldretti, a middle infielder from Florida, that's where we're going to need some help next season. As for Arizona, Ben Greenspan, the recruiting coordinator, has made it clear they want to thrive in Arizona again, as they've done with Tyler Williams and Garvin Alsta Jr. staying in-state to join the Sun Devils. So you look at it, Chad McClanahan and Zane Strand, both great prospects at their respective positions here in the Grand Canyon State. Junior college transfers are such an X factor because they are technically draft eligible. But we start with Ethan Skender, who was already drafted by the Reds out of high school, a Midwest outfield prospect, and Jake Godfrey, who spent his freshman year at LSU, transferred to a junior college, and now wants to be in the starting rotation for ASU baseball next season. Look, 22 recruits sounds like a lot, but at the end of the day, not all of them are going to make it, and there's a reason. They call it MLBU. Now to the most successful team on campus, ASU women's basketball. Upcoming this weekend, it's the formerly dreaded Bay Area road trip with Cal and Stanford. Until ASU's regular season sweep of Stanford last season, there hadn't been a team in the conference to take 2 from the Cardinal since the 1987-88 season. That is any conference opponent. Now they have the chance to do it in back-to-back years. And for more on this, we're going to shift the power with Bailey O'Carroll, our ASU women's basketball analyst. But before we talk about Stanford, we're going to talk about last weekend. UCLA and USC gave ASU a tough time, a couple more close games. Is this helping ASU with all these close contests they're having?
I think
no one else is the way it is. It's time for top plays. First up to the ice. Overtime against Wisconsin Eau Claire for ASU. With the left wrist shot is Patrick Moore, denied by Robert Levin. More from this, well, right now.
We're going to stay on the frozen water, Dom. Michael Cummings in the 6th round of the shootout against Wisconsin Eau Claire, making it look easy, and that would eventually win the shootout, but the game would still remain in a tie.
Number 1, are you really surprised? You get a buzzer beater. It's Sophie Bruner. 4 seconds left. Into the paint, and 1. Give her one in the pink jerseys. Look at it one more time up close. Perfect feed into the paint, over the top foul, and off the glass, and in. Waxed on, waxed off. Perfect shot for Sophie Bruner. ASU gets the win.
Remaining schedule, this is the time in which they really need to showcase that.
Absolutely. Everyone's had UCLA circled on their calendar since the start of the year, but this Cal weekend can really be a trap one if you really go underwhelming into it. You look at the rest of the Pac-12 standings, though, you still see UCLA on the top there with their great conference mark. This weekend, they actually have a break in their conference play. They take on the Gonzaga Bulldogs, a team that the Sun Devils beat back in the Phoenix Community Classic. But look at ASU's remaining schedule. Yes, they're in a good spot there in the 2-hole, but tied in the win column with those Golden Bears just below them, who they take on this weekend, of course. But UCLA next weekend at home, Wazoo to close out the home stretch for ASU, and then go to Dedeaux Field and USC, the Trojans. 11-7, that's a really deceiving mark because they've faced some really good teams that have faced ASU as well. Also, they defeat the defended national champions Vanderbilt. They beat TCU. They also beat UCLA in an earlier tournament, all at Dodger Stadium as well. So this weekend is going to be big, but the last 4 weekends are going to be huge for ASU if they want to get back into the super regional chat.
Standpoint.
Well, you look at it overall, these are two really balanced teams. They're very equal. They have pretty good offenses, but Cal has the upper hand in pitching. You see the great runs allowed. It's the only stat they really have a big advantage in over a run, really, at the entire per game. Their great weekend rotation. They're going to see Ryan Mason on Saturday night. The Sun Devils are. He just shut out those Wildcats that put 17 runs on them. He put them 4-0 last weekend in Tucson. So Mason's going to be tough to beat against Kellogg on Saturday night. Everyone knows about Dalton Jeffries and his 6 wins, but here's some perspective. They have pitched over 180 innings as starters this year. They have only walked 35 batters. And then to complement that, they have Lucas Urseg, one of the best Pac-12 power hitters with 9 homers this season. That's only second to who else in Bobby Dahlbeck. Top of the second inning, Sun Devils and Cowboys trade zeros, and Lilac back out on the mound against the cleanup man Connor Costello. That fastball had a little juice on it, but it sails high for ball 1.
Dominic, the crowd looks great here. It's a beautiful, beautiful evening here in Tempe.
The offer in there for a strike. Some of the more notable publications are still on the East Coast watching some debuts of notable players. Nathan Kirby, Kyle Funkhauser, Walker Buehler over there on the East Coast. It's in the 50s. That's not baseball weather. Come on out to Tempe and watch 2 ranked opponents out here at the brand new Phoenix Muni.
Yeah, this is great. There's not many places in the country they can say it almost reached 80 degrees today.
Well above average. Here comes the 1-2 from Lilac to Costello. Fouls it back.
That was a great pitch by Lilac. He came on the inside half a little bit there.
Costello, the senior right fielder. Batted .240 a year ago. He takes time, steps out of the box for a brief moment.
We'll see what pitch Brett decides to go to here with the count in his favor.
He goes with the curveball, but misses high.
That's okay. That could be his setup pitch. Change the eye level of the batter. He might be looking for always something in the zone, but when you change his eyes, he begins to think that the next pitch might be there.
Correct myself. The junior in the box from Edmond, Oklahoma. Little flare to the right side, but Bialik is there, makes the catch in foul ground, but it's an out. 4 up, 4 down for Lilac. And plenty of scouts here to watch him behind home plate and amongst the stands. Easily, many agree that he will be a top 5 round pick, that is. A lefty with some juice. Now faces another lefty, Tim Arakawa, who was a thorn in the Sun Devils side in the 4 games they played against each other last season. He takes a ball. In the 4 games, he was the only one to face every pitcher that the Sun Devils threw at him. This one, he fouls straight back. He went 7 for 16, had 4 RBIs. He batted .265 a year ago and started all 66 games for the Cowboys at second base.
Wow, I can see that he's comfortable in there. I bet he can hit lefties and righties.
The 1-1. Skies it foul out of play, 1-2. He has some Arizona connections. He's from Honolulu, but he spent his junior college ball to the east of in the eastern part of the state at Yavapai.
One of the best programs around for junior college baseball.
He's behind in the count, 1-2. Lilick goes inside, and he just goes inside out with it with a single to left field. That's the first hit of the day for the Cowboys and their first base runner.
And the first defensive play for Gerhardt in his career. Seems to be fitting in there in left field just fine.
He was a little amped up on that throw. It was off the bag, but still, he got there airborne.
Yeah.
Now John Littell, who flashed the leather in the bottom of the first, will now standing with the aluminum. Freshman on the team, into the box. From Stillwater, just in their backyard. First offer takes on the inside corner for a strike. That's a big key in Lilick's success, is going on both sides of the plate, especially the inner half against these righties.
I think so as well. It keeps the hands tight in on these guys. Oklahoma State not allowing them to really get the barrel to the ball.
Next offer, shallow right field. Coming in is Allen. Now back. Arakawa's halfway between first and second, but Allen squeezes it. Now throws, shows off his cannon to first base. Said Arakawa's not respecting me. Fine, get back to the bag.
Trevor Allen has no shyness about his arm.
One of the best arms in the Pac-12 in the outfield, if not the best.
You know, I can really see the comfort level and relationship that Brian and Brett have built together as a pitching-catching relationship.
Last note on Allen, he had 3 outfield assists last year that led the outfielders. But now in the box, it's Kevin Bradley. He takes that one low, serving with a backhand. Bradley has been a journeyman. He has been all over the map. He's from Pennington, New Jersey. Then he spent a year at Clemson. He's a sophomore technically in school, or in eligibility. Spent a year at Clemson, then went to State College of Florida, and now he transfers here to Oklahoma State. He utilizes redshirt while a Clemson Tiger.
Yeah, so Oklahoma State tries to add some seniority to their lineup by bringing in a junior college, possibly a leader on their team. I'm sure he'll fit right in.
It's a similar journey as to Joey Bialik over at first base. Went to Cincinnati. He got a lot of playing time, though, at Cincinnati, and then decided to come back to the Valley and go to Paradise Valley Community College. Plays JUCO ball there, and last year transferred into ASU.
Yeah, Joey's he's an Arizona born and bred, and it's kind of in the blood of high school baseball, as you always want to play at Arizona State.
Everyone here knows it. There's a strike. Lilick evens the count and put 2s all over the scoreboard. Arakawa was at first. He had a 1-out single to the left side.
Let's see if he tries to speed him up here or slow him down with a breaking ball or a slider.
Runner goes. It's Arakawa, and this one's fouled off to the right side.
He went with the fastball there. Maybe he'll go with the changeup. A lefty on lefty matchup changeup is maybe one of the hardest pitches to hit, especially when you're not ready or haven't seen a Brett Lilick changeup.
Over at first, Arakawa was second on the team in stolen bases last season, 15 in 17 tries. And he only trailed the catcher of all people, Gage Green, with 20. The 2-2, outside corner, got him looking. The second strikeout of the night for Brett Lilick as he heads back to the dugout to end the top of the second inning. No runs, a hit, no errors, a man left on. We head to the bottom half of the second. Still no score in opening day baseball at Phoenix Muni.